So not long ago at a wedding here at Cabrini, we had the groomsmen were in the sacristy, and that's often what happens as the guests are being seated. And this particular wedding, we had, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 groomsmen, and then we had a ring bearer. And the ring bearer was a young kid. He was probably 8 or 9, and he was spunky. He was really sweet, but he was very energetic, and he was clearly very excited about this wedding. And so it was about 5 minutes before the wedding was going to start, and so I went to the closet to get vested, to put on my alb, and as I started putting it on, he looks at me, as serious as can be, and he says, "Are you trying to look like God?" And when he said that, there must have been kind of a lull in the conversation because everybody in there heard it. And the sacristy erupts with laughter. And frankly, I was glad that there was laughter. Because if I'm honest, I didn't know how to respond to him. I didn't know how to answer his question. And so maybe I'll pose the same question to you. Are you trying to look like God? You know, this weekend, we honor our fathers. Those men who have shown us a father's love. Those men who have sacrificed for us. Who have emptied themselves for us. Certainly not because we deserved it or earned it. In my own life, I think about my dad. I think about my father-in-law, my grandpa, and frankly, many other men who weren't my fathers, and yet gave of themselves for me. Because what they did, what they continue to do, is give me a glimpse of the Father's love. Even thinking about my own fatherhood and being a dad, I think about where I am today and where I was before I had kids. My children and my grandchildren are one of the greatest blessings of my whole life. I'm sure many of you agree. But the truth of the matter is, part of that blessing was that being a father taught me how to surrender, how to empty myself for the sake of my kids and my family. And so through my vocation as a dad, imperfectly, but maybe I'm looking more like God. In our gospel tonight, we hear about the calling of the 12 apostles. They're summoned, they're appointed, they're given authority, and they're sent. And I think it's really important to recognize that it's not just the 12 apostles who are summoned, appointed, given authority, and sent. That's you and me too. Those are really powerful and profound words. Beautiful words, really. Maybe a little scary. But I was reading a commentary by this Father Simeon, who's a Trappist monk And he said that these words fall short when you look at the original Greek text. He said a closer translation would say that Jesus called his 12 apostles and he remade them. He recreated them. That through their encounter with Jesus, they were a new creation. Like what we believe about baptism. It resonates with me because we know the backstory about these guys, don't we? Fishermen, tax collectors, sinners. Simple, ordinary people like you and me. And yet we're talking about them tonight. They did extraordinary things with their life because of the power of Jesus. I can't help but maybe imagine a little bit. What if one of the 12 apostles ran into that little 8-year-old boy, and that boy posed the same question to him? Are you trying to look like God? I think his response would have been quicker than mine. And he would have said, I'm trying to see as Jesus sees. I'm trying to love as Jesus loves. Yes, I'm trying to look like God. And folks, that's our invitation too. Being open to that encounter with the divine that we have every time we receive the Eucharist at Mass. Being open to receiving Jesus so that we can become, so that we can look more like God.